Hello. We're going to take notes on algebraic expressions. This is for the Go group that's at home. You will need a blank sheet of paper to take notes today. After today, we're going to give you your notes page where you can just copy and follow along. But today, you need to actually have some paper and pencil to do that. So if you need to pause this video, feel free to do so. So we're going to work on Unit 1, algebraic expressions, and we're also going to do some one-step equations as well. All right, so let's first just talk about what an algebraic expression is. Okay, an algebraic expression is a math phrase. Okay, it's a math phrase that is made up of numbers. Okay, it's made up of numbers and variables. One thing to note about algebraic expressions is that they don't have an equal sign. Okay, so that's the difference between an algebraic expression and an algebraic equation, is that they don't have an equal sign. Okay, so basically what we're going to be doing today is if we have something where A is equal to B, okay, then what we can do is that we can take A, okay, and replace it. Okay, so A can be replaced for B as long as they equal each other. Okay, so we can put A in for B as long as they equal each other. And basically what that means is that what we call substitution, that we can substitute the variables with their given values. Okay, each time you substitute a variable with a number, what you want to do is put a parentheses around that number. That's going to be very important. And then from there, we just follow what if you remember, order of operations. Okay. So knowing that you substitute, knowing that you put parentheses around it, and then follow the order of operations to find the answer. Okay. So those things are going to be very important. All right. So what we're going to do now is go down here and look at some examples. Okay. So we're going to go down here and look at some examples. All right. And so what we'll do, let's look at example number 1. Okay. All right. So look at example number 1. So this is what we're looking at right here. That's the expression. All right. That's the expression. So it's telling us over here that A equals 2, B equals 4, C equals 7. So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute those in. Okay. And we're going to put parentheses around everything we substitute. So if you see here, A. So where A is, I'm going to put 2, and I'm putting parentheses around it. Okay. Next, we have B. B is 4, so I'm going to put parentheses around it. We also have the squared, so that's attached to it. Okay. Next, we have the plus and the C. The C is 7. All right. So now once I get to that point, now all I'm doing is order of operations. Okay, parentheses, exponents, all that stuff. All right, so I have my 2. 4 to the second power is 16 plus 7. Okay, now next, 2 times 16 is 32 plus 7. And then 32 plus 7 is 39. Okay, so that is my final answer. All right, let's look at example number 2. Here's the expression. I'm going to bring that 3 down. And notice x equals -2. So in parentheses, I'm going to put -2 and then also put that squared symbol attached to it. Okay. Bringing down the -4. And then in parentheses, I put -2. So again, I'm using order of operations here. Okay. Bring the 3 down. -2 squared is a +4. And then -4 times -2 is a +8. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12. And then I have 12 plus 8, and my answer is 20. Okay, so I'm just substituting those in and then following order of operations. Let's go down and do example number 3. Again, you need to be doing these with me, okay, for your notes. All right, so I have a squared, b, and then b squared. So a is 3, b is -4. You're just substituting those in. So put parentheses around the a, put a 3 in, put the squared symbol, put parentheses around the b, put a -4, bring down the minus sign, put a parentheses around the b, it's -4 again, and then squared. Now just do order of operations. 3 squared is 9. Then I just bring down the -4, and then bring down this minus sign, and -4 squared is 16. Okay. All right. So then I just do 9 times -4 is -36 minus 16. And so -36 minus 16 is -52. All right. There's that. All right. If I come over here, that b is -7. So I have a, which is 4 squared. B is -7 minus, and notice how I'm putting parentheses around everything that I do. All right. Now I just have to do order of operations. 4 squared is 16. Still have that -7. And then -7 squared is +49. Okay. 16 times -7 is a -112 minus 49. And all that equals -161. Okay. All right, let's do example number 5. Again, I'm just substituting those in. That's the biggest thing, is we're just substituting those in. And this one here, be very careful because there's a negative in front of this y. So I need to bring that negative down, then put parentheses around the y, and then make sure I put the squared symbol there. Bring the subtraction sign down, bring my 3 down, x in parentheses -4, y in parentheses a +2. So bring this negative down. 2 squared is 4. Okay. And now I'm multiplying all of this right here. -3 times -4 is a +12. Bring down that 2. Then I bring down my -4 plus 24. And then -4 plus 24 is a +20. Okay. We have a couple more that I want to look over. They're just a little bit different. So if we look here at number 7, We're still doing the same thing, and we're substituting those in. And make sure you put parentheses around what you substitute. So on the top here, I have a squared. So 3 squared plus b is 4. 4 squared. Put my fraction bar, and then I still have 3 minus 4. And I do the exact same thing. Okay? So 3 squared is 9 plus 16, which is 4 squared. 3 minus 4. Okay? And then that equals 25. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. So then my final answer is negative 25. Okay? So it's the same thing. It just look like it's just a fraction. Okay? Now we will look at number 8. Okay? And notice that b is negative 5. B is negative 5. B is negative 5. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing. Put my parentheses around my A. Remember, B was negative 5. Okay. Put my parentheses around my A. Bring down that subtraction sign. And so that's what that should look like. Now let's evaluate it. Negative 3 squared is a positive 9. Plus negative 5 squared is a positive 25. Then I have negative 3, and I can distribute that. So that's going to be a positive 5. Take it one step further. I have 34, because 9 plus 25 is 34. And then on the bottom, negative 3 plus 5 is a positive 2. And then one step further, that gives me 17. Okay. All right. So that's the notes on expressions. All right. That's the notes on expressions. Now we're going to go and look at one-step equations. Okay. We're going to look at one-step equations. And this should be a big review for you. So remember, the thing with one-step equations is that you got to know and understand inverse operations. All right. Which technically means you're doing the opposite. Okay. And also, this is an equation, so you're having to solve, okay, for something. All right. So let's look at number 1. Let's look at number 1. All right. It says m plus 12 equals 10. I'm trying to solve for m. I mean, I want to get m on a side by itself. Well, in order to do that, I need to move the 12 over. So what I like to do is draw a line through the equal sign. That's my balance line. And basically, you'll hear me say this a lot. What I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do on the other. And so this is where the inverse operations come in. This is a positive 12 or a plus 12. So to undo this, I have to do the inverse, which is minus 12. That's how I move it. Well, if I do minus 12 on one side of the equal sign, I have to do it on the other side of the equal sign. Okay? So what happens is that this cancels out because they're opposites of each other. The m comes down, and then all I have to do is solve 10 minus 12 is negative 2, and I have my answer here, m equals negative 2. Okay? So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do the same thing on number 2. First thing I'm going to do is draw my balance line. And then I know that I'm trying to isolate G. So I need to move this negative 9. Again, do the inverse, do the opposite. So this is negative 9, so I'm going to do plus 9. And remember, whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, I've got to do on the other side. This cancels out because they're opposites. So I bring my G down, bring my equal sign down, and then negative 2 plus 9 is a positive 7. So I have G equals 7, or 7 equals G. Okay. So that's the addition and subtraction version. All right. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing with multiplication and division. Okay. So looking at number 3, again, still doing inverse operations. I still want to get this y by itself. Okay. I still have my balance line. Okay. This over here says negative 7y, which means negative 7 times y. Okay. So what I have to do is the opposite. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by negative 7. And what I do on one side, I have to do on the other. These cancel out. All right. I bring my y down, and negative 91 divided by negative 7 is a positive 13. That's my answer. Okay. Looking at number 4, I want to get a by itself. Well, this reads a divided by 9 equals negative 4. I still have my balance line. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So since this is dividing by 9, I'm going to multiply both sides by 9. Notice how I use the parentheses. Okay. That cancels out because I did the opposite. I bring my a down, and negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. So that is my answer. So notice again how I'm doing the opposite operations. Now, these last 2 examples we're going to do are fractions. Okay? They're fractions. In order to get rid of a fraction, I'm going to move this up just a little bit. In order to get rid of a fraction, okay, and we're just going to do 5 and 6, you have to multiply by what we call the reciprocal. Okay? The reciprocal means it's flipped. Okay? It just means that it's flipped. So if I have a fraction 3/5, its reciprocal is 5/3. It's just flipped. If I have 4/3, the reciprocal is 3/4. So again, it's just flipped. Okay? So if I look at number 5 here, basically it says to multiply by the reciprocal. To get its fraction, to get rid of the fraction, multiply by its reciprocal. So if I look here, again, I got my balance line. I have a fraction, so I want to get rid of the fraction. So it tells me to multiply by its reciprocal. Okay, so its reciprocal is 3/2. Well, remember, if I multiply on one side, I got to do the same thing on the other. So I'm going to multiply this side by 3/2 as well. This cancels out because I was able to multiply by its reciprocal. And I have now 10 times 3/2, which is 15. And that's my answer. Okay. So if whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other. Okay. So look at number 6. Again, I'm going to multiply by its reciprocal. Here's my line. Whatever I do on one side, I have to do that about on the other. So I'm going to multiply by 9/4 to get rid of that fraction. Remember, we're getting rid of it, so that means it cancels out. Remember, on what I do on one side, I have to do on the other. So that cancels. This leaves me with W over here, which is what I want. And then negative 8 times 9/4 is negative 18. And that's my final answer. Okay. So those are the notes for today. You will now click on the Delta Math link. Okay. So you have your Delta Math, deltamath.com. Sign in there. And then you have an assignment to complete on Delta Math. Okay. If you got any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or Ms. Wolf. We'll be glad to answer those questions. Thanks and have a great day. And we will see you on Tuesday.